As I stated countless times, I'm just like the best food in the world, Italian, and today we'll explore the beautiful country of Italy in video games. That's right, we're taking a tour from Sicily to Lombardy, exploring all video games set in the peninsula along the way. I will not only list all games set in Italy, but also explain and evaluate how these video games depict the country. I'll be excluding titles set in generic sports stadiums, strategy games, and games that are inspired but not quite set in Italy, like Just Cause 3. But apart from these few exceptions, buckle up Passepartout, it's going to be a long journey. We start our trip in the southern regions of Italy, the splendid lands that are known for their rich nature and ancient history. Kicking off the trip is the land of Sicily, with 6 titles set in the Mediterranean jewel, 5 of which are set in a generic depiction of the Isle during the Second World War. In July of 1943, the Allies carried out Operation Husky and invaded the Isle of Sicily. There are 5 main titles that depict this event happening: Mafia 2, Medal of Honor Vanguard, Sniper Elite 4 Italia, Call of Duty 2, and Call of Duty World War. The first 4 games do not have a specific location per se. These games are either set in the countryside or in a generic Sicilian town. The game that does the Isle more justice is Sniper Elite, where the developers gave their title the best possible depiction of the region, making Sicily a semi-open world where players can fully immerse into. Mafia 2, COD 2 and Medal of Honor Vanguard only have a limited number of missions set during Operation Husky. I believe all developers did a great job at giving the Italian front some visibility. Mafia 2 aged a bit better than the others, and the prologue mission where Vito Scaletta fights off the Axis in the nameless Sicilian town stuck to every Italian like myself who ever played the title. Call of Duty World War II does not set any of the campaign missions in the Italian front, however it has 2 multiplayer maps set in Italy, one of them in the Italian city of Ragusa. The Sicilian town may not be big, however it is recreated somewhat faithfully and the game captures the rich architecture of the southwestern city of Italy. Hitman 2 Silent Assassin is the only non-war game set in Sicily, more specifically in the fictitious monastery of Contranno, inspired by the city of Noto. The location of the mission captures that Sicilian countryside and architecture and lets the player explore and roam around the monastery and its surroundings. Apart from Sicily, Italy has another major island called Sardinia. Here the game Gran Turismo 7 lets the player race in a track built within the Emerald Isle, showcasing to the player the landscape the region has to offer. Unfortunately, GT7 is not a Forza Horizon game and is not open world. The streets are the player's limits. Going towards the peninsula, we find Campania's capital of Naples, represented in the small indie game Father and Son. The short 2D adventure depicts in an artistic manner some of the Naples' most iconic landmarks, such as the National Archaeological Museum of Naples and Piazza del Plebiscito. The streets of Naples are alive, and while the adventure is short, the game gives a good insight of Napoli. Nearby there is perhaps one of the most touristic hotspots of the country, the Costiera Amalfitana. 2 games have parts of their adventure set in this particular angle of paradise. Gran Turismo 4 and Uncharted 4 are Thief's End. As you can see from the footage, both games depict various parts of Amalfi. Uncharted gives the players insight of local mansions nearby the coast, while GT build a racetrack across the impeccable town. Both to Amalfi and the whole south, justice. They say that all roads lead to Rome, and this can be farther from the truth when it comes to video games set in Italy. In fact, there are so many games set in the Eternal City that I had to make a new blog on my notes to highlight how the nation's capital is depicted in video games. Kicking off our list is none other than Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the first true open world in this list. AC Brotherhood recreates a fantastic Renaissance version of the city of Rome, and allows the player to roam around freely from the Vatican to the Colosseum. There is so much I could talk about that I quite literally made a whole video dedicated to this particular faithful recreation. I'll leave the links somewhere around on the screen. Games set in ancient Rome couldn't miss the list, and the best ones that I think are worth to mention here are The Forgotten City, Rise of Rome, and A Night in the Forum. All these games are set in ancient Rome and very close in quality. From purely cinematic and high quality graphics, I would say that Rise does make the ancient city come to life. The other titles listed do their best to bring players back in time and let you pick your favorite. The most modern take on the urban is Gran Turismo 6, having one of the race courses in the middle of the metropolis. Racetracks goes from the Vittoriano to the iconic Colosseum, passing by the Arc of Constantine and Piazza Venezia. Racing here is fantastic, and seeing the main boulevards recreated in-game is a joy for the eye. A futuristic look at the Eternal City is given by the multiplayer game Overwatch 2, that has the Italian capital as one of its battle arenas. No, I do not play Overwatch, so don't ask me if this is a fan favorite or is always skipped. However, what I can tell you is that the landmarks depicted in the game, such as Capitol Hill and La Mole del Vittoriano, are visible and well remade. The last game I have on my list is... oh no. ci posso credere. Gioventù Ribelle XX La Breccia, a small tech demo set during the capture of Rome of 1870 that somehow keeps popping up in my videos. Not gonna lie, I do not wish to speak about this game again because it's quite an experience and I don't want to spoil the surprise. For more details you can check out the video I made on how I discovered this forgotten game. Italy is often divided into north and south, yet Central Italy has quite a unique culture and architecture not quite comparable to both the southern and the northern regions. Before you ask it, yes, I am very biased because I do come from this area of the country. Starting off with the Lazio region where Rome is located, there are other World War games that take place in Anzio and Monte Cassino. Day of Defeat has a map set during the former, while Medal of Honor Underground and Call of Duty World War II are set in the latter. Day of Defeat and COD have multiplayer maps that lets players fight off in their respective fronts, while Medal of Honor has a single-player campaign mission set during the capture and eventually the destruction of the now non-existing Abbey of Monte Cassino. The last title set in Lazio is Assetto Corsa that has the real-life circuit of Vallelunga present in the game. The circuit is used mainly as a training field for Formula 1, but it does host events on its own like Italian Formula 4, Formula 3 and endurance events. Moving to the Umbria region, the real-life circuit of Magione is also present in Assetto Corsa. The circuit, located in the city of the same name, is not well known and is usually used for amatorial events in central Italy. Out of all the locations in this list, Magione is the one closest to Perugia, the city where I'm from. In Umbria we find another racing track, yet this time much more unique than the others. Gran Turismo 4 transformed the historical and charming city of Assisi into a circuit for you to race in, nicknamed Città d'Aria. It's quite admirable to see GT4 transforming the small city in the Apennine Mountains into a playground for all players to visit and race in. And now we reach the beautiful region of Tuscany, known for the arts her great parents brought to us many centuries ago. I don't think it's a secret to anyone that Assassin's Creed 2 Florence is one of the best recreations in this list. From Santa Maria del Fiore to the Arno River, the Renaissance city is remade quite sublimely. It has aged a bit, it's been far too long. However, the magic of the city still persists, and there is no more iconic real-life location in video games than Ezio's Firenze. Assassin's Creed 2 also depicts other two cities in Tuscany, Monteriggioni and San Gimignano. These medieval cities are of course way smaller than Florence, however it is very nice to see them being recreated in-game. Increasing visibility to the small Italian borghi, in my opinion, is always the best thing to do. Still in Toscana, we found the infamous Volterra Psychiatric Hospital, aka the Volterra Asylum, location of the small indie horror game The Town of Light. The unsanitary location is made a bit less scary with the recognizable central Italian landscape in the background, but don't let that fool you for too long. It wouldn't be Central Italy if there wasn't yet another racetrack in the list, this time Mugello, a track that hosted the Formula 1 Tuscan Grand Prix in the 2020 season. This is often considered to be the third most important racing track in the peninsula, after the other two I'll mention in this video later. The last game to be set in Tuscany is Call of Duty Vanguard, which has yet another multiplayer map in the Italian front, this time in an unspecified location. The map, appropriately named Tuscan, is heavily inspired by small Italian towns in the area and is part of the Gothic Line, the front line between the Axis and the Allies. We've crossed the Po River and officially arrived in the northern regions of Italy. From the Po Valley to the Alps, from Piedmont to Trenton, the most industrial part of the country is also heavily represented in video games. The first northern region of the list is Emilia-Romagna with 4 entries. Assassin's Creed 2 has one of its smaller cities set near the Adriatic in the small town of Forlì. Like San Gimignano previously mentioned, this city, while being small, was recreated quite sublimely and the player is free to explore it, from the open surroundings to the Abbey of San Mercolias. 2 indie titles also depict 2 smaller cities in the region. The Hand of God, a detective point-and-click adventure, has its secondary act mainly located in the Borgo of San Leo, a town with no more than 3,000 inhabitants. Journey to the Planet Earth is a bizarre sandbox game that is set in the city of Fornoto, on the other side of the region. It wouldn't be Emilia-Romagna without racing. I mean, this is the land of Enzo Ferrari and Ferruccio Lamborghini after all. The famous Imola circuit is located in the city of the same name, and it hosted and will host many Formula 1 Grand Prix. The circuit is iconic, challenging, and known all across the continent and the world. Close by, we find the region of Liguria with some entries. Hitman 2016 sets one of its missions in the beautiful city of Vernazza, in the famous coast known as Cinque Terre. The location chosen couldn't be more iconic, and Square Enix did a splendid job of recreating the town and its surroundings for the player to roam around. Still in Liguria, we find Forza Horizon 2. While the game is mainly set around Nice and the Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur region of France, there's a section of the map set in Liguria. The cities present within the game are fictitious, but the splendid Ligurian Sea and the countryside are real and available for the players to explore as they wish. Moving up north to Piedmont, we found the game The Italian Job, located entirely in the city of Turin. This whole title is based on the movie of the same name, has that crazy taxi vibe, and it recreated, even quite simplistically, Piedmont's capital. The explorer sandbox is small, but in the background we can find some iconic landmarks of the city, such as the famous Mole Antoniana. Even more northern than Turin, we find the smallest region of the Italian Republic, the Aosta Valley. The Epilogue tip is located in the Alps, and while it's a bit vague where specifically, I did find confirmation that Mont Blanc and the Aigles Mountains are in the game. These mountains are at the border between Italy and France, and thus the Aosta Valley was most likely used as an inspiration for the title. From the Alps we can reach the city of Milan, Lombardy's capital. Unfortunately, there are no free-roaming games set in the vast metropolis. However, Ride 2 gives players a fantastic circuit down the roads of Milano, bringing the player in the streets of shopping and business with their trusted Italian motorbikes. A game that technically was not announced yet, but it will most likely be released in the future, is Mario & Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games Milano Cortina 2026. Now I can't claim this game will be made, but most likely it will, and I bet it will make a fine addition to this list. Not far from Milan, we reach the Italian Circuit of Excellence. We are talking none other than the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, located in the city of, you guessed it, Monza. The Formula 1 Grand Prix was nearly always raced in this iconic racetrack, and it is hands down one of, if not the best circuit to race in. Monza is Italian racing at its peak. From the long straights of Furbo Parabolica, it is always a thrill to race around here. Farther east we reach the Italian frontier, where between 1915 and 1918 the First World War took place. In the region of South Tyrol, Veneto and Friuli, many were the battles fought between the Kingdom of Italy and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. There are two games set during this war, Battlefield 1 and Isonzo. The first title, Battlefield 1, has one of its campaign in the Italian front, and while it is not confirmed exactly where in the front the game is located, it is implied that it is in the northern parts of the border, hence in the South Tyrol region. The scenery is jaw-dropping, and fighting across the Alps is a phenomenal sensation. The second title, Isonzo the Italian Front, is set in the battlefront along the Isonzo River, today the border between Italy and Slovenia. The game, as for the time of writing, will be released soon, but key locations such as Monte San Michele, Sabotino and Gorizia have already been confirmed. Even if the indie title has a smaller budget than EA's counterpart, the game promises higher realism in the locations depicted. Just like Rome, it would be even fair not to give Venice its own block. After all, the small city of 300,000 inhabitants has one of, if not the highest tourist rate per capita. If every city in Italy can be called unique, Venice is Kings of Kings, and is truly the most brilliant diamond in the Veneto region. What better city to close off our list? There are many games set within the Venetian canals, but before listing, it's important to mention games that have locations heavily inspired by the town. Games like Dragon Quest XI, Final Fantasy XV, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sly Cooper 3, Final Fight 2, Bayonetta, Super Mario Sunshine, Mario Kart Wii, and many more have all cities inspired by the uniqueness of Venice. Once again, Assassin's Creed 2 kicks off our list, and what an entry it is! Venice in Assassin's Creed is unreal, incredible, the best depiction of the Adriatic city we can find in video games. The map is fully explorable, from San Marco Plaza to the Grand Canal. Every iconic landmark is present in Ubisoft Magnus Opus. This city would need some video just like it did for Rome. Do let me know down in the comments if I should. Going on with the other entries, we find Counter-Strike Global Offensive with the map Canals, and Overwatch 2 with the map Rialto. Both multiplayer games are specifically set in Piazza San Marco and surroundings. Counter-Strike and Overwatch 2 do quite a remarkable job to recreate Venice's heart, and I bet it is a joy for all Italian players of both games to face off in the Renaissance city. The last three entries on the list are Tomb Raider 2, House of the Dead 2 and Venetica. These old titles have aged a bit, but their first depiction of the Serenissima should not be forgotten. In all three titles we can recognize Venetian canals and some other landmarks, like the ones previously mentioned, as well as Palazzo Ducale and Rialto Bridge. There are most likely some other games that I should mention, but I do need to finish this video somewhere, so lay back and enjoy the footage before jumping up in the conclusion. They say that Italy is a dream that keeps returning for the rest of your life, and this couldn't be farther from the truth in video games. It is incredible the number of games set in the peninsula, and I most likely forgot to mention some entries. I'll be more than glad to fill up my knowledge with your comments down below. To make this video I did a lot of research, and one big website that has a database for many games set in Italy is IVPro, the one you see on screen. The site has a longer list than the one I proposed in this video, but but it does have a very generous definition of what a game set in Italy is, including odd entries like Dark Souls and in Southern Italy. Look, I've never been to Basilicata, but this is clearly quite different from the real thing. If you made it this far, grazie mille for watching today's video. This was a long one and I really hope you like it. It would mean the world to me if you leave this video a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe for more. If you want more of these long research videos, don't hesitate to give me another country to look at. There are like 200 nations out there, so go crazy. I wish you a wonderful day. Arrivederci.